Welcome into Lock In Live for NFL Week 17 with Uncle Phil. I'm your host, Matt. Thanks for joining us this Sunday morning. As always, Uncle Phil, how are you doing?
I am good, man. Look, I feel like I've had COVID, and then I had the flu. I feel like I've been sick for a month, and I'm finally back in form, and certainly this week is off to a good start. So excited about Week 17. So I'm ready to go.
Absolutely, and let's just touch on it. Big day last night. I believe it was 10-3, so a really nice late Christmas gift for all the Notebook subscribers. It was massive. Just hats off to you. Let's keep it rolling.
Yeah. Last night was good. I had, read everything pretty well. Player props went 9-1 last night, so it was a big night. Went 8-1, sorry, and went 10-3 overall. So big night. It was a good night, and then went 5-3 on Sunday. So always good to start off on 1 week, 15-6, and then today's notebook got 4 teasers, and we've got 7 sides. So 11 more picks on this week. So hopefully Week 17 will continue to be good to us. I think that it will.
Most definitely. Alrighty, let's just jump right in. Where are we heading first, Uncle Phil?
Yeah, let's go down. Last week, South Beach was good to us when Cincinnati went down there, and we got the over as a cover on that. We're going to head back down to South Beach. Not playing a total this time there, but we are going to play. We're going to take Miami plus 4.5. Tampa Bay is just not the same team. Baker's not the same guy without Liam Cohen this year. It's clear that coordinator has a big dependent upon that. I mean, you can see that difference with Caleb. You can see it now without Ben Johnson with Jared Goff, and same things happen to Baker with Liam Cohen. Liam Cohen just doesn't get the recognition because of Jacksonville. Nobody pays attention as much to Jacksonville till last week when they beat Denver. So, and then of course Tristan Wirfs out this week, which is always a bad sign for Baker. Doesn't have that left side protected. Not that Miami's some juggernaut defensively, but I really did like what I saw from Quinn Ewers. That line started at 6.5. It's steamed down to 4.5. It tells me I'm on the right side. I'm taking Miami plus 4.5 as my first best bet. The second one is I'm going to Indianapolis. Teams after they play at Denver, I think the record is 3-13 on the year against the spread because that game is just so physical. And, obviously Jacksonville was the one who certainly was the more physical team, but it was a very emotional game, very prove-it game. Um, I know Indianapolis doesn't have much to play for today, but look for Indianapolis to come big again. This is another team or another line that is steamed down 6.5 and it's gone down to 4.5. Tells me again that I'm pretty sure I'm on the right side of this. I've liked it all week. I liked it earlier, just didn't play it because I lock it in at the exact same time that I'd give to you guys as well. So I always want us to get the same lines. I always hate when cappers come and say, hey, I locked this in on Monday. And you're like, well, that didn't do me any good today. It's a little bit off. So I always want us to, play with an open hand and us always take the same line. So got two lines, plus 4.5, got Miami plus 4.5, got Indianapolis 4.5, and I love my bonus pick. So, let's roll with it.
Alrighty, good stuff. Let's get to some questions here.
Yep.
We got a bunch of them rolling in. First off, the line, we got Corky. He wants to say he appreciates what you do for the people, Uncle Phil, and he wants to know your thoughts on the Browns game.
Yeah, and he's like, yeah, the line certainly moved in favor of Pittsburgh. I really liked Cleveland this line. I really thought I really expected to wake up today and take Cleveland in my notebook. And when I saw the line start moving heavily toward Pittsburgh, Aaron Rodgers doesn't have anybody to throw to today. I know Quinshon Judkins out. Cleveland's at home. I think that DK Metcalf without him today is a bigger deal than a lot of people think. And I think it's going to be, and if they lose today, it's going to be even a bigger deal next week because, again, DK is the only one that beats man coverage for them. And so I don't know how they function as an offense without somebody to beat man coverage. And what Aaron Rodgers has to throw to today is just not that great. So for me, my thought is to lean toward Cleveland. Just don't like the way the line's moving. I'm with you, Corky. I noticed that too. The other thing I saw is that the line's going up, the total's going up. I think that's the right direction. I think the line's too low. I would look at the over on that one as well. So that's probably a better play for me. And if you like Cleveland on that one, if you're like me and you kind of still like Cleveland, maybe think about teasing Cleveland down and maybe teasing that total down as well and taking them there because I think that might be a decent option for you.
Alrighty, good stuff. Hey, Corky, thanks for the question. Next up, we got Al Kingsbury on TikTok. He says, what do you think about New England 13.5?
Yeah, feels like a lot of points. I mean, look, I feel like Jets are playing for draft picks on that one. But if you look at that 13.5, and if you look at if it'd be 13.5 on the road, it'd be 16.5 on a neutral field, and it'd be 19.5 at home. And so essentially 20 points is what you'd say that New England would be favored by at home. And the Jets have kind of been getting beat by about 20 points. Again, maybe something I'd look at teasing down. I like in that game what I like better. It didn't make my final cut. It was kind of on my big board. I kind of like the over in that one. I thought 40, I think it's around 42.5. I thought that was a little low for those two teams. I realize there's some weather, some rains around 31, 32 degrees. So, who knows what it's going to be like, if it's going to be the freezing rain, similar to what it's going to be like in Buffalo, but, and not that field needs to be any worse, where the Jets and Giants play, but that's the only thing I can see that would keep it from going other. I feel like the Jets are playing for draft picks. I feel like that the over in that game is a pretty good bet on that one. 13.5 is a little rich, but again, the Jets are kind of packing it in right now. Brady Cooks, I'm not even sure he's a backup right now. So, and that's who they're rolling with. Clearly, they're playing for next season. Of course, it's what the Jets do this time of year, right?
No kidding. All right. Hey, Al, thanks for the question there.
Mm-hmm.
Just keep rolling.
Yep.
There are two bad teams on this one. Penny Talks Raiders Giants.
Yeah.
There.
Hey Penny. I have the total in my notebook. I think the line has moved. It's moving clearly in favor of the Giants. And I don't like that. I mean, I think everybody's like, hey, they're sitting Crosby. That's really the only person they're sitting. And it's because he's got to have knee surgery. But I know he's pissed about it, but he gets sat every year. And this is the thing. Same thing happens. So I felt like Las Vegas played a heck of a game at Houston last week. And the way they played that game and the way the Giants are not playing that game, the Giants are not playing well at all. Ever since Kafka took over, they look bad. Jackson Dart's not playing. He won't let Jackson Dart throw. I like, that's one thing I'd look at is I'd look at Jackson Dart's, attempts, completions, everything under on that, and yards, because they're just not letting him throw. I mean, this is just a bad matchup. Like I said, I do have the total in my notebook, but side-wise, that's kind of what it looked like, or maybe even look at some player props on that one. But good question. Should be. It's a really interesting bad game. It's the most interesting of all the bad games.
It is definitely interesting.
Yeah.
Should be good. Hey, Penny, thanks for the question. We'll go to next on TikTok. We'll go to Seth. What do you think about the Panthers +7?
I typically put I'll put 6 picks, 6 sides in my notebook, and then I'll put a 7th in there if I'm playing the Sunday night game, which I am tonight, so it's in the notebook. But I had an 8th game, and the 8th game was the Panthers +7. So I like the Panthers. I think that's the right side. But the reason I took them out is because of if you listen to the show frequently, first of all, thank you. But if you do, then you'll know from last week I said, I just don't trust Tampa. I don't trust any team from the NFC South, and the Panthers. I don't trust them either, but I do trust them more as an underdog, because the only times they've won this year, they've won 8 times, and all 8 times they've been underdogs. They have never won as a favorite. And so if you I could certainly see that game going their way. Look, I know it was a week and a half ago on Thursday when Seattle played the Rams. When they played the Rams, they obviously went to overtime, and that defense was on the field for 90 snaps. And that's a lot. That's a lot for an NFL team. And so I would expect that team to be really sluggish. I'd expect Seattle to be sluggish today. And I would, again, flying West Coast to East Coast late in the season, last thing you want to do, you're like, hey, we've made the playoffs and got to play the freaking Panthers. There's not a lot of juice in that stadium. I like the Panthers in that game, and I probably, if I had any balls at all, I'd probably play the under as well. But I would, I like that game. It just didn't make it, and it's just kind of like Scott Van Pelt says, it's like a GP game. It's just general principle. I just can't play the Panthers.
Alrighty. Hey, well, thanks for the question there, Seth.
Yeah.
Let's keep rolling. We got Andrew from Dallas. Andrew, good to see you, brother. What's your take on Buffalo 3?
That one's in my notebook, brother. I can't talk about it, but the line is certainly moving. The late money's moving toward Buffalo, and a lot of times that is the smart money on that. So we'll see if that's right today. To me, I think it all depends on if Josh Allen's foot's hurt very bad. I know that they're like, hey, it's not a big deal this week and his full practice and all that, but he did go get an X-ray at halftime. last week because they thought it was hurt pretty bad. So we'll see. Maybe he is, maybe he's not. I don't know. We'll find out. We really won't know the game because Josh Allen will never say. So, but best of luck on that one. Let's see. Also 50 degrees game time temp. A lot to play for than Eagles. 50 degrees. I think it's lower than that. I think it's a mistype on Andrew's part. I don't think it's going to be 50 degrees there. I think it's supposed to be lower in Buffalo because I think they're expecting freezing rain right before the game. So I'm going to look that up real quick. Orchard Park. Let's see. It's 35 right now. It's going to get to be 54, so he's right. So game time today, I guess freezing rain won't be a big deal. I know they had the tarp on. They're going to keep it on, for a little while, but I guess they'll be ready to roll, and it'll be fine. So anyway, good luck to you, buddy, whichever side you choose.
All right, Andrew, thanks for the question. Got another question that rolled in. I know we already touched on this game, but Cleveland money line. Should I sprinkle that?
Yeah, look, I kind of, if you're going to play Cleveland, I would play a money line today. I would. I just think that there's going to be a lot of juice in the building because I feel like Cleveland either is going to get blown out or they're going to win it today. And I think there's going to be a lot of juice just because Myles Garrett is going to break the sack record today by sacking Aaron Rodgers, who is one of the only quarterbacks in the NFL he's never sacked before. So I think that's going to be a big deal in Cleveland Day and give the Browns fans something to cheer about a lot, which they haven't had a lot to do this year. So I think it'll be an interesting game. I'm not pulling against Pittsburgh or anything. I don't really have a dog in the fight there, but I would kind of love to see Cleveland win this game so we could see a game that actually matters next weekend, or winner take all between Cleveland and Pittsburgh. I think that'd be a great way to have Week 18, since I think most of the games next week are just going to be crappy.
Most definitely. Let's keep going. This is fun.
Yep.
We got a question from Bussin on TikTok. What's your favorite prop that's not a notebook game?
That's a great question. Look, I would take a couple things. I would take Cincinnati. The Bengals are terrible against guarding tight ends. I would take McBride. I think it's over 83.5 yards. I would take him, and I'd probably even combo that, parlay it with an anytime touchdown with McBride. I just think that's going to be the go-to today. And I think that McBride's going to have a big day. Obviously the total's super high there, so they're expecting a lot of points. So I think he'll get some opportunities. So I like that one a lot. We talked about it earlier. The Giants aren't letting Kafka's not letting Jackson Dart throw the ball because he can't stay out of the blue medical tent, because every time he drops back to pass, he takes off and runs. And, he's been in the blue medical tent 5 times this year, which is just crazy. He just won't last. So they're just trying to save him from himself at this point. And so I would take under his number of attempts and completions, potentially yardage as well. So those are ones I like, but I really like the McBride one. But really great question.
All right, Bussin. Thanks for the question there.
Yep.
We'll go back to Andrew. Fantasy question. I know it's the championship. DJ Moore versus San Francisco, or Harrison Jr. versus Cincinnati. Henderson versus Jets. He needs it for the championship.
I'm going to go safe. I'll take Trey Hendrickson.
Yeah, Okay.
And then second would be Moore, and then third would be Harrison.
Okay. All right, Andrew. Hope that helps. Best of luck today in your fantasy championship, and to everyone else that is in those tournaments. It's a big day for everyone.
Yep. No, and it's not that I don't like Harrison, and I know that he and Jacoby have a good relationship. It's just that the tight end is the matchup that Cincinnati doesn't cover well in this game. So I think that they're going to go with. I think he's going to lean heavily on McBride today. I think McBride's just going to have a monster game today. So that's why I chose him. Not that they don't, because I know they have that special relationship. But that's kind of how I'd rank it. But good luck to you, man.
Yep. Good stuff.
Yep.
Let's keep going. We got Barnes on TikTok. He says Titans +2. Question mark.
I like that. I do. I mean, I really do. I can't figure out why New Orleans is favored, because, you know, if you take it +2, then, you know, if New Orleans is -2 on the road, then they'd be 5 points on a neutral field. Then they'd be in New Orleans. That the books are telling you that New Orleans would be an 8-point favorite over Tennessee at New Orleans. Now, just tell me, does that make sense for New Orleans to be 8-point favorites over anybody? I mean, they weren't even that big point favorites over the Jets. I think it was like 6.5. So I don't see it. It just feels a little bit much. I like the Titans there. I think that look, I like Shook, but I think that this game is probably a lower scoring game, as are most New Orleans games. And I think 2 is very reasonable for Tennessee. I like where you're thinking on that.
Okay. All right. Barnes, hey, thanks for the question there.
Mm-hmm.
Let's keep rolling. A lot of people, I mean, I think this is the most asked game specifically, is the Bengals game, over under, what your thoughts are. I know probably can't speak on that, but
yeah, no, I can't. I can't. Look, these teams are both terrible, so naturally this is the highest point total on the board, right? So I think with, you know, Cincinnati, you know, and Miami just blowing out that total last week, Burrow coming home, probably, you know, his last game at home was against Baltimore. It was just terrible showing by him. I'm sure he wants to show something to the fans there. They roll out today. The weather's going to be nice there, you know, especially for Cincinnati at the end of December. So, you know, it's just if you think or not, you know, again, because it's in my notebook, so I can't reveal what I put there. But it's a question for you, is that does Cincinnati and Arizona have enough juice to get over that inflated total, which is high, but has the market overcorrected for that? Have they overcorrected for it? And, you know, Arizona seems to be sitting a lot of people, like Paris Johnson's out. You've got some other people. They've just been sitting people out. Feel like they're playing for draft picks as well. So, you know, is Arizona going to hold up their end of the bargain? Yeah, I don't know. You know, I have a pretty sneaky suspicion of what I think is going to happen. And like I said, it's in my notebook. But those are all the things that you need to weigh out. Like, hey, you know, and the main one is that both these teams have got terrible defense and giving up tons of point scoring. Is that, you know, will the Bengals score enough to overcome what Arizona may not? Because Arizona's sitting people. So that's just something for you to think about.
Okay. On that game, we got a question that rolled in. Well, do you think Cincinnati will cover the 7 then?
I did earlier in the week, and it went to 7.5, and of course, it got bet right back down by the Sharps to right at 7. So 7 kind of seems to be the number. I kind of feel like Cincinnati does get that done. I didn't put it in my notebook because I didn't I don't want to come out real strong about it because it's not one of my picks, right? So if I felt that strong about it, I'd put it in my notebook and, it'd be there locked in. I'd be playing it personally, and I'm not. But I do think Cincinnati gets it done. There are some people that are playing Arizona, and I don't get it. I didn't think Arizona played a very good game last week, and I think Arizona is starting to shut it down. I think they're going to Cancun early.
All righty. Well, Uncle Phil, we're about, let's see here, hour and 4 minutes from kickoff. Any final thoughts before we take off? This is a penultimate show.
Yeah, look, I really enjoy this week. I think this is your week to bet. Next week, we'll probably lean in more on some player props because sides are really tough next week. Well, depends on the games that come up because, next week will just be a mess. It'll take, probably till the end of the week for books to even set lines on the games for week 18. So just enjoy this week and get ready for the playoffs. But thank you guys that support and buy the notebook. Really appreciate that. Appreciate you guys supporting the work that I put into it. And, just more importantly, I appreciate you guys showing up here about 2,000 strong every Sunday morning. I mean, that's phenomenal. Really appreciate you guys. Listen, hey guys, let's have a day. Thanks for tuning in as always, guys. Let's roll.